Hello and welcome to This Month in Car Design with me, James McLaughlin, Editor-in-Chief of Car Design News, and Lucy Abbott and Freddie Holmes.
Hello, James.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to see you both. Um,
James, before we get started, I can see it's weighing on your mind.
it is.
We need to have a moment's silence for the hat because the hat has perished.
It has
unfortunately,
perished.
at the hands or the teeth even
The teeth.
of your own hound.
Yeah, lousy mutt.
Yeah.
Lousy,
However,
lovable mutt.
in celebration of the hat, we have come up with a hat-inspired shooting
We
break
have.
that Lucy has put together for us.
Probably spent a bit too much time on as well.
Perhaps. But I mean, the power of AI, it did it in a couple of minutes. It's
Mhm.
an amazing straw hat, and amazing in my opinion. Shooting break
pretty good.
concept.
Mm-mm.
Has a little straw hat gold emblem at the front,
Mhm.
completely woven interior.
The black
Yeah.
ribbon
The
around
black-
the shoulder.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
hat
well.
band
Black
ribbon
ribbon,
motif,
yeah.
which I think is quite fetching.
Yeah, I think it's a fitting tribute to the hat.
But why a shooting break?
I mean, you tell me.
Well, I will tell you. I'll tell you right now.
No, I'll tell you.
No, inspired a little bit by the king of the waistcoat, Niels van Roij's
Yeah.
Daytona shooting break, which
Yeah.
was unveiled just ahead of Goodwood. Another shooting break from the master of the shooting break.
He's really carved his niche there,
Yeah, in a shooting break form.
and I'm very jealous. It's an amazing business he's got going, I think. Yes, and Mark Smythe was down there for us. We'll have the story up on CDN very soon.
But it did-
However,
Yes, it did inspire our own shooting break mission, aside from the hat-inspired one, Lucy. Freddie, what was yours?
I thought, what's the least shooting break-esque car?
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of leaned towards the Nissan Figaro. I don't know why, but you gave it a go.
Yeah.
No, that was me.
That's
It
right.
was
Oh,
me,
yeah.
yeah. And you gave it at your request. I gave it a camtail back.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's all right.
I think it works.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying it looks sort of Riley, Austin.
Mhm. It could have been on the British Lane and Portfolio circa
yeah, I'm
1975.
very happy with that. So Niels, if you're watching, if you could get started on that would be much
Yeah, I mean,
appreciated.
I'm sure he's take commissions. My own effort was I've got a soft spot for the Rover 75, Peter Stevens's design. There was a brilliantly beautiful coupe that never saw the light of day, but it was a working prototype. So I figured, yeah, that would make a good shooting break. Lo and behold, it's probably the most plausible of all of them.
How dare
No disparaging of your
I see how
your hat inspired.
I mean, I also did the Renault Wind, which is a personal favourite of mine for previous listeners of the podcast. Very amphibious, has scales.
I think
I
you're
don't know
actually. Did
why.
you use the prompt to make it more
Make it more
amphibious?
I don't know why. I just feel like there's no kind of amphibious looking cars out there.
Yeah, hard
And
to
it's quite-
fathom that, isn't it?
But
Really?
like an amphibious car that's not one that actually does go in the water. I don't know. Maybe
Oh
I'm
right, so
just,
it really is just form.
just for show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no function
Yeah.
there.
Make it more aqua. Well, the big news was Goodwood, and we were all down there seeing various different people. Highlights for you guys?
There
Things of
were
note.
There were quite a few. Obviously, one thing that was a little bit different to the norm for me was chatting to Marcus Breitschwert, I believe is his surname. I'm just going to call him Marcus, it's easier. Who's the CEO of Mercedes Heritage. Again, slightly different to the normal sort of victim we would go for on CDN.
Victim.
But that was a really interesting conversation, and he does more than just sort of managing the museum, as he put it. He does work very closely with the design team. And I said, okay, well, how closely? He said, well, as we talk, they are currently touring the museum at my request.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, they're very engaged with the heritage. They understand the roots of Mercedes, and they're trying to channel that as they move.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't thought of this before until you mentioned it, but
Well, they had the gull wing on.
they did have the
stand.
gull wing, yeah, which is obviously a legend.
And the AMG 300E, which is an absolute monster, Bruno Sacco.
Yeah. And that's obviously, that's all the go-to reference for Mercedes-Benz of late 20th century. I wonder if they're looking for a bit of a reset following the departure of Gordon. Don't know. That's wild speculation, but if they're touring the museum, they are literally searching for something.
Yeah.
Wild speculation. That's what you come to a podcast for, I think.
Of course,
Yeah.
Of course, it's the place for it. For my own part, I saw the guys MG SAIC Advanced, Carl Gotham's team, who'd done the MG Go interesting. I'd say, it's a sporty looking kind of hatch. It takes a little bit of design cues very subtly from the MGB in its vertical light signatures and purpose, I think. But it was interesting to talk to him because they did it. This is a project done entirely in the London studio. They don't have any modelling facility, so modelling and anything that sort of thing was done, obviously, in Shanghai, but it was done digitally. And I asked him whether that was a challenge. He's like, we were basically a COVID studio in that we'd been doing this ever since we sort of opened up, because it was almost immediately after they opened up in London that COVID hit. So they were working virtually.
So they're used to it.
Yeah, 100%. It's like it almost didn't, it didn't ruffle them in the slightest. But they take it very seriously, Goodwood, the MG team, the MG.
Well, as they should, as a British brand, really.
Yes, they launched 2 concepts. The other one was a bit more Joseph Caban led, I think. But yeah, there are stories on the website there because we spoke to both of the guys. Lucy, what about you?
I think highlight for me would be seeing the Ferrari Luce in metal.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said before, not a massive fan of it. And when I saw it in person, I kind of thought I'd have this overwhelming realization that I did love it and that it looks different in the flesh. But
did you?
No.
No.
I actually didn't feel anything. And I think for a brand that's supposed to be like
this car made me feel empty.
No, but like Ferrari's known for kind of emotional design and that kind of thing. And I literally didn't feel a thing.
That is. I mean, I was struck by the execution. It was very, very clever design, volume within a volume. But we know all this. I was searching for the same thing, maybe some kind of revelatory experience. The execution was amazing. Like the shut lines were precise. The interior was huge. The interior was interesting as well. You could see all the kind of, the stuff that you've seen online, you've seen in pictures up close. But again, it left me a little bit cold. I spoke to Jenkins, which we'll get onto that later in the pod. But he said if it was a Chinese launch, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But it's got a Ferrari badge on it, so it's a lot more trickier, I'd say. That does lead us on to our main theme of this month, and that was surfacing. And we did talk to a lot of people, designers at Goodwood, resurfacing, just because it seemed the obvious place to be. Myself, I spoke to Mitchell Bockert. I mean, Lamborghinis are really interesting from that point of view because they seem to have about 1 million things going on. And it was interesting to talk to Mitchell to try and get a sense of, what fundamentally unpins it, because he's got a way with words, Mitchell. Remember an interview I did a while back where he described, not wanting to end up with a potato.
Yeah.
Well, this time he was talking about the jungle. If you can get lost in the jungle when you're designing a Lamborghini, too much going on, so you have to have these fixed points, these Y shapes, these kind of these jumping off points where you can keep control of it. So he says we're crazy, but it's not chaos. Now, Lamborghinis, they're not aimed at me, I don't think. Or I don't know if you guys have got hidden bank balances I don't know about, but probably not aimed at you guys either. But
sadly not.
But sadly not. But it is interesting to see, there is rationale behind it. There's undoubtedly that Mitchell is a great sketcher, and he's trying to create something there that is completely unique, which I think he's managed to do. But often, what's the word? I think it's difficult for people to kind of either get on board with it or they don't really. And I think he's quite happy existing in that space.
Yeah. What about you, Lucy?
I spoke to Renault, which was quite interesting, mainly to speak to Alexandre Malval, who's the new VP of design as of January. So that was interesting to catch up with him. He spoke a lot about kind of Frenchness and embracing this like French kind of sensual design language. That's something he really wants to push forward. He also spoke about like the changing profile of the designer in AI. He spoke a lot about kind of younger designers that perhaps prefer to kind of hide behind a screen, and when it actually comes to physically modeling something or physically kind of crafting a surface, they sort of are a bit like a fish out of water. But I mean,
that's really interesting because that taps into a little bit about what Mitchell was talking about. He's got such a good eye that he will see things that you don't see that often his junior designers don't quite see,
Yeah.
and he can pick up on it quite quickly. It's not like alchemy; it's kind of totally rational thing. But it's this: if there are certain lines that don't quite do what he needs them to do, he will take time out to explain why it isn't working. But it's hiding behind AI. I mean,
Yeah.
well, we've done it originally on the
Yeah.
podcast with our own experiments. That it doesn't. Don't kid yourself that you're a designer. I
No,
guess.
no. I also spoke to Hennessy, who showed their Venom
Mm.
5M Roadster. I spoke to Nathan Malinek, who was a US national wearing a great cowboy hat. The whole design
In
team
fact,
had on cowboy hats.
yeah.
I thought maybe, I mean, I know we love hats here, but it really stood out to me. Yeah, so he's the first in-house full-time designer, and he got to build the design team from the ground up. And he spoke a lot about design and aerodynamics and surfacing working hand in hand. Sort of, they only had 2 cut lines on the vehicle, which obviously keeps the air nicely laminated to the body. But it also looks nice. So it's kind of like it works hand in hand rather than doing one then the other following, which was quite interesting to speak to him.
I'd be keen to see where Hennessy go now they've got an in-house design team, because to my knowledge they've always been a sort of a modifier rather than an OEM
creator.
yeah. So if there are more models to come from them that are in-house,
Well, it sounds like there is
built from scratch, then great. I'm all here for it. Although we noticed it has almost the exact CMF spec as the Praga hypercar that I went to see as purple.
Yeah, haven't we got a load of purple cars on the website at the moment?
I know it's odd, isn't it? Although we were chatting earlier that was indeed forecasted as the colour of the year. So,
Yeah.
it's playing out.
Surprising. We were prescient.
Yeah, exactly. And the Praga thing, that's the Pahima is quite something to look at. It's very, very angular, but even more so, James, than the Lamborghini you were talking about. It's kind of just a myriad collection of different surfaces, really, it feels like. But what stood out to me was the wing mirrors, and I mean anorak talk here, but the wing mirrors were.
That's why we pay you the medium bucks, really.
They're mounted directly to the abdomen of the car, the chassis, and that's because that was the only place that they would be strong enough.
Right.
If they were on the wings, they'd be wobbling around too much and probably blow off. And because they're mounted to the chassis, they have these huge sort of fins coming out. So the mirrors and those fins become surfaces of their own. Yeah. It was
that's
quite cool to see, actually.
Yeah.
But Goodwood for me started on the Wednesday evening. We went to go and have a sneak preview of Maserati's GT4 project, which is the racing version of the Gran Turismo. Looks great. I mean, it doesn't look massively different to the Turismo. Obviously, it looks like you can tell it's a race car, but the fundamentals are there. And I grabbed some time with Klaus Bisser, who's always lovely to chat to. I asked him, what makes a good surface, and he very kindly went into this notion of functional surfacing, and if you can get away with not sort of bolting a wing on or a spoiler, and just sort of making sure you shape the surface in a way that it
does something, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. So functional surfacing, and he was obviously reflecting on that over the days to come.
He is a thinker.
He is a thinker, and did a little video on that as well while driving the Gran Turismo. So thanks for
thanks for the shout out, Klaus. Nice one.
Yeah.
I'm just going back slightly to the conversation I had with Mitch. I talked to him about various different things, but I also spoke to his head of production alongside him. But I'm sure a lot of designers can relate to this. The amount of stress that they're under, how much pressure is applied, particularly at the moment where it is quite tough times out there for the car industry. I was like, where do you go to de-stress? Where what do you sort of fall back on? And he was like, he has what he calls his church, which is the Finizione, which is basically where all the finished cars go just before they go out to customers, and they're all there, and he can just wander amongst them, and study them and think about it, and it's super quiet. And I thought, I love that.
I
I
imagine it to
love
be
that.
like a candlelit room. He comes
Mm.
in a robe and just
Yeah,
like
well, yeah.
glides down the
Well,
middle.
that's the other thing I discovered, that I was curious about his suits, because they're quite some of them are quite out there, or quite interesting designs. But he designs them himself, so maybe he would design a robe to wander around.
Yeah, so with a big hood.
Yes, yeah, like some kind of car design Jedi.
Can we do that for the podcast? Can we sort of turn up,
Hood it up.
cloaked, and then
It's
like the traitors, basically? That's what I'm
yeah, traitors. Sticking with surfacing though, the last person I spoke to was Derek Jenkins over at Lucid. Now, Lucid have been about aerodynamics right from the off, um, and Derek had a lot of interesting things to say about it. Not least when he was talking about this sort of the design language that he created for Lucid, the air with the air being very much like this fuselage design, like streamlined, almost like a land speeder or something but they were very, very slippery. Almost, if you could eliminate the shut lines, it would be this kind of hyperdynamic object. And how he's going to have to compromise that design language as they move into the mid-size class, because this is going to have to be their volume seller if they're going to make a serious go of being viable, a going concern. And yeah, he was talking a little bit about the kind of the extreme lengths they went to do to get the kind of clamshell identity for the air, and how the mid-size, which has not been named yet. I don't know what the project name is even, but it's going to be a lot more kind of, it's going to be sharper, a little bit more kind of ready to pounce, a bit more aggressive, because it's going to have to be. But it is sort of bringing to sharp relief how much surfaces can convey an identity and how difficult they are to do. I mean, they agonized over how to get it done, working with engineers, how to get it stamped properly, because it was no easy feat. Of course, you can't do that when you've got to drop the price to make a volume seller mid-size thing. So it's going to be really interesting to see what it actually looks like when it launches. He was great on various different things, actually. He was they're deliberately holding off revealing the mid-size until it's ready, because he laments a little bit the early unveiling of the Lucid Air, which they had to do to get investment and get people interested. But it was first seen sort of 2016, 2017, and we didn't actually see it as a car
There was
till
a
years later.
pronounced gap, wasn't
Yeah, and it's been out there in the world, so it makes it very hard to hang on to your own identity or IP or look or aesthetic that you develop, because by the time you've released the car, some people, car makers have gone, "Hey, that's a great idea," and they've beat you to it. But it's actually your design language that you've kind of put out in the world. So a few things there from Derek. That's going to be a far-ranging interview that you see in the CDN website. By the time this goes live, it will be out there in the world.
I think surfacing for me has been a really good topic to
I
dig
think so.
into.
I really think so.
Another little takeaway from the chat with Klaus was this idea of surfacing being a brand identifier beyond the badge, beyond the sound of the engine, because surfacing is what you see from a distance as well. So if you've got distinctive surfacing, almost like a family shoulder line, let's say, or a family fender line that flows from model to model, you should be able to see, oh, that's a Maserati.
Yes, commonalities between, yeah. That's a really good point. And then thinking about it as well, it just reminded me that we did see Massimo Frascella and the Audi Nuvolari in the metal at Goodwood. Massimo was about to go on the hill climb, so we did grab 20 minutes with him. One thing I mentioned to him was that you've noticed with a lot of his work how good the rear three quarters were on the Range Rover 5, and also the way that the treatment of the Nuvolari, and also the Concept C. And he was like, "Oh, that's interesting you mentioned that, because I always sketch cars from the rear three quarters, chiefly because that's the most common view of how people will see them when you're driving along." So this idea of identity is, we talk so much about the front face and the grille, and various other bits on the front of the car, like signatures, but also it probably applies more fully to the rear three quarters, the rear of the car, because that's how you see them. That's what you see them as you're driving along.
Yeah, from my conversations, I was going to say the same thing. I think it's just as important as light signatures now, because when you see that kind of form of the car and the shape, even though it might be subtle, your eye still takes in the general kind of curves of it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's something I never really thought about until we did this focus of the month. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been
I'm
interesting.
glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm glad so that'll take the sting out of the pay cut that I'm about to
Oh,
announce. So,
maybe
Right,
not.
cut the pod.
away from Goodwood, trips. Where have you been, guys? I can't remember where I've been. I'm sure it'll come to
I
me.
recently returned from Munich with Xpeng, where they showed us
Oh, you had a go at doing
the
some a video design review.
yeah. They showed us
That was quite
the
good.
L03 or the LO3, I think LO3. Bit of a curious sort of PR launch that it was embargoed for us, but not for others. And anyway,
Yeah,
we won't pull at that thread. I'm obviously still
yeah.
sore.
Lest it unravel.
But that's an interesting looking thing. It's quite stocky, and that's the work of Juanma Lopez and the team over there. And they openly say that draws on his experience from Ferrari.
Yep.
I think he was head of exterior design maybe back in the day, and then he was head of interior at Lamborghini. So he's got some good pedigree. And you can really see that from the front end, kind of
Totally.
going into the surfacing angle again. Those fenders, they're like totems
Yeah,
either
they are
side of
massive.
the bonnet. I haven't seen anything that pronounced in quite a while.
This is a production car, though.
It's a
Very-
production,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. I think they want to have it all over the world, really, which is why they showed it in Munich. But yes, no, it's an interesting thing. I think it's a step up from what we've seen with the G6, which is a bit anonymous in its design, I would say.
Yeah.
We did a local trip to Royal College of Art.
Oh, the RCA
Yeah.
summer show.
The summer show that
Yeah.
was very busy, which was nice. I mean, I think it was a slightly smaller room this year, which is why I feel kind of filled out a lot more. But yeah, brutalism and minimalism were the two
Yeah,
main
brutalism was a constant reference.
themes. I
coming
think
up.
my favorite was what was it called? The Rolls-Royce concept arc by a student called Eonjin Jun.
Oh, you have
I
to
hope I'm
remind me
saying
which
that
one
right.
that is.
That was the scale model that was made entirely out of concrete.
Oh, yeah.
wow.
And it 15 kilograms of concrete he used to make that. Yeah, it was a great example of brutalism. It obviously took a lot of inspiration from architecture, and his main idea was kind of going back to basics, just like relying on the purity of form and the material itself, which yeah, I mean, it was so popular, it was difficult to actually get. I was like queuing up to speak to him. Yeah, there was quite a lot, and there was a nice one called a fragility concept by Yingao Li, who created his exterior using a piece of like chrome paper origami. That's how he came up with his like exterior form language. And he even used a mold of his like thumbprint pressed into clay to come up with
Oh, yeah, I remember
the kind
this
of
one.
inward hollow center valley. So it was like really intriguing kind of
Organic
processes.
form.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a real contrast as well. You've got the concrete model next to the one made of foil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good.
There was a project whose the name of the student I forget, so I will put that in the show notes because I can't remember it. But it was a bit of a whirlwind of kind of stands going around and seeing everything. But one of them was a jungle explorer, sort of rainforest kind of a vehicle that kind of trod quite lightly on the ground to go and as a conservation to do sort of conservation work in, rather than just rolling through on and squashing everything. I thought that was very intriguing.
The sort of tiptoes.
Yes.
It was like a tripod kind
Yeah.
of
Right.
thing, I think.
Yeah,
Wasn't
it's
it?
quite
Yeah.
sci-fi
Like when you're
vibe.
trying to avoid Lego in the dark.
Yeah.
Not always successfully. But yeah, that was an interesting show. Any other students' shows that we've got? Oh, I can't. What else have we got?
We missed Pforzheim because it was during Goodwood, but I have received the images for it, and it looks like another strong show from them. But I feel like it's quietening down for the summer, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's getting to that
agreed.
point, isn't it?
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's soon be silly season. Don't worry. I've got a few stories up my sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Freddie, the Amble buggy. I saw this on the website. I can't remember commissioning it, but it's great fun.
It's cool, isn't it? It's a take on the buggy that's inspired by the 71. I'm going to say 70s lunar rover, and yeah, you can really see that actually. It was designed by as a sort of a collection of designers, but the two people I spoke to bring experience from Audi, Lamborghini, Apple,
Mm-hmm.
Neo, Arc'teryx, Herman Miller. There's a real sort of smorgasbord of
Yeah.
car and product and industrial design brands going on. It's
And
really
they've
simple.
come up with basically
It's
beach
a buggy. It's a
Yeah.
beach buggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Designed for everything from upmarket resorts and hotels and golf resorts, beaches, but also sort of daily commuting. If you live on the Portuguese coast, or I think they even referenced Costa Rica for some reason. I don't know if that was just sort of thrown out there, but if you live in one of these places where you're sort of just want to bimble around down to the shops or down to the beach or go out for dinner, it goes 40 miles an hour. It doesn't have any doors.
Don't go around a bend.
Don't go around bends too quickly,
Yeah.
but it's really, really nicely resolved. It's very simple. Two sort of main forms. One sort of skateboard-esque electric platform underneath, and then these lovely, almost sort of oval hoops
Mm-hmm.
at either end with a canvas canopy across the top. It's great.
Yeah, love it. What caught your eye? I know what caught your eye, Lucy. It was the Alpine Lacoste.
Alpine Lacoste
Yeah.
fab. It was this amazing color-drenched concept it was named Beware of the Crocodile. So that
Mhm.
gives you, I mean, we'll put a picture up on screen, but there are 290 hidden crocodiles in and on this car. So I can't find all of them, and I can't dedicate the time to finding all of them. But yeah, it has this
Yeah,
amazing.
please don't.
It's amazing, like monochrome red cabin, and it's built around the red of a crocodile's tongue. My favorite bit is on the rear. There's kind of a crocodile that looks like it's emerging out of water, so it's still kind of got its lower bit of the jaw
Mhm.
within the car. I just think that's quite. Imagine like being in traffic, and just the person facing this massive crocodile. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, I really like that, and also Aston Martin Dreadnought.
Oh, the Dreadnought. Yeah.
That was very cool. Yeah, tactical SUV concept designed for Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 4. Yeah, massive military grade kind of vehicle, and it shows like what designers can do when they're not restrained by.
Some would
the
argue they
real
should have
world.
been restrained on that one.
I love it. I honestly want them to make it into production car.
Could
I
you
can see
imagine?
myself driving that.
Well, yeah,
to
just
work.
have a quick word with the lads in the warehouse. Right, we need
Yep.
to invest in some new tooling.
I think if it was sort of a slightly more compact,
Hmm.
almost in the form of like a Dacia Bigster or something, that could be quite fun. I think.
Yeah.
But
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen a
deviation.
direction like this since the Signet turned up. Bob Boniface is retired.
Yes.
Another big gun.
I know GM is losing a lot of good ones. Sharon Gauchi, you interviewed her, and Andrew Smith.
Now Bob.
Yeah,
Michael Simcoe.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah.
yeah, loads. Yeah, I had a really nice conversation with him. He had loads of, as you can imagine, a whole career's worth
So many
of
stories.
advice and stories and everything.
Yeah.
Very strong advocate for pencil and paper.
Yeah.
Just going back to
Old
basics.
school,
Yeah. He says that like drawing imprints the design process into the brain in a way that AI can never do.
Mm.
He said there's no substitute for the act of your brain telling your hand what to do. He's known best for the Buick Wildcat.
Well, of recent
concept.
years, yes.
Recent.
His most recent work, I think.
That was what he chose to be remembered for. If he had one car to
Really?
be
He
remembered
did say
for,
that?
That was his choice.
I mean,
That
it
his
was
model.
phenomenal. I remember going to see it in GM Studios.
Yeah.
And sitting in it, and it did look like it had been, carved out of kind of a block of aluminium, and
Yeah.
it's great. It's
He had
really
a great story about that as well. He said that it was born out of a kind of brand design sketch practice. So a group of designers got into the room.
Mm.
They each got told to reimagine the face of Buick, all drew something. He came over. He didn't say the name of the design actually, but he went over and said, "Yep, I would have never thought of that. That's great. Like, let's build that, but not tell anyone."
Yeah.
So then they built it in a scale model, and they had a meeting with Michael Simcoe, and they were like, "Let's just leave it by the door. Let's not show him. Let's leave it by the door."
Yeah.
And Michael Simcoe walks in the room, points, and it's like, "What's that?
Yeah.
I love it. Like, let's make it." And then that's how it happened. So
It's
he's
good,
got
isn't
so
it?
many stories like that. But yeah, that interview will be online.
Yeah.
Those
Online.
secret projects are always the best.
They are, aren't
kind of
they?
skunk
Yeah.
sort of thing. Well, yeah, it's just Bob was another nice guy designed. Wish him all the best in retirement.
Yeah.
As we say,
He's not retired.
designers
doing
don't
something.
retire. He'll just do something else.
He said he's waiting 6 months to decide what to do. So apparently that's the best. Oh, in the meantime, he's doing watercoloring for his daughter's wedding, which I thought
Oh,
so
that's really
wholesome.
that's so
Yeah.
heartwarming.
And he's got a couple of grandkids on the way. So yeah,
Sounds good.
All
Very
Sounds
fancy,
good to
all.
me. What's coming up? What is coming up? Holistic design is our next month's feature.
It's difficult to know where to start with that because it's such a broad topic.
It is,
that
yeah.
I don't think with any of the topics that we've done for our monthly deep dives, I've had a sort of a clear view of what it's going to throw out or which angles we're going to
You
take.
could approach it from all sorts of ways, couldn't you? Marketing materials, showroom design, design the car itself, the UX. There's loads and loads of strands to pull at. I think we just go in and see what happens. You know,
I want to see if there are dedicated experts, sort of head of holistic design or holistic design specialist. You have brand strategists. you
yes,
have
100%.
These sort of
Big picture people.
creative,
Yeah.
a bit more sort of independent roles within studios at the moment. So I wonder, is
I mean,
there a holistic design VP?
I mean, yeah, or is it just one of those things that just should bleed through all aspects of a company where design is sort of touches? I mean, I think the master of this was Thomas Englath at Polestar, and creating everything felt so on brand with that. All the marketing material, the showrooms, the design, the cars themselves, the branding, the logo, all of that. I mean, that was kind of. I mean, that's what happens when you put a CEO, a design director, as a CEO. You find that everything will look, any point that's going to be customer facing is going to feel part of a family. But is it true for all car companies?
Oh, let's find out.
Well, I guess that we will find out. Any further thoughts? We're up on time. I've got a note here: symphony versus solo. Who put that in the chat notes?
Well, that
To do
follows
with
on
holistic design.
holistic design. Yeah, is it a case of individual departments working on their own or working together with other
Maybe I'll throw in
marketing, branding?
conductor. That's what you need. You need a conductor
Yeah.
of an orchestra. Shiro Nakamura said that. Described himself as that to me once. I'm a conductor of an orchestra. I'm not the talent, the lead violinist.
Which is ironic because he is a double bassist.
He did
Is it double bassist or cello?
No, it is double bass.
Double bass,
I think.
yeah. So he is literally.
Actually, seems ludicrous to see him with a
solo,
double
yeah.
bass. I mean, that must be twice the size of him.
Yeah.
But yes, interior motives. We're putting that together.
Yep.
Looking for case studies. If you've got anything you want to try and get in, send it to me. I'll put it into the pot and we'll have a look. And we're deep in the throes of car design review as well.
Always a fun project.
Yeah. A mammoth project to come over the summer. Speaking of summer, any plans? I'm heading off to Italy on the mother of all road trips in a Volvo V70. Wish me luck.
That's going to be amazing. With the dog as well.
Yeah, dog's driving.
Keep the hat away from it.
Yeah, I know. Have you got little goggles for the dog to wear this time?
Do you know what? That did remind me. I had a Mazda MX-5 RF, a loan car, and I took Stanley, the dog, down to a campsite, just me and him. I put his little carry case in the passenger seat, unzipped the top, and his head popped out the top, and his ears were flapping in the wind like Snoopy. And I figured, this dog is living his best life.
Yeah.
And so am I, quite frankly.
No, I'm very jealous of the trip to Italy. I'm going to be
toiling at the desk of CDN.
Yeah, I'm going to be sanding plaster and painting walls and doing other bits and bobs.
Sounds good. Lucy, have you got a glamorous location that you're heading off for the summer?
I'm going to Malaga in September, and I'm learning Spanish on Duolingo.
Muy bien.
Desperately. So yeah, I haven't got there yet, but
Well, bonjour to that. That's it for this month. Thanks very much to Freddie and Lucy for their thoughts. If you like and subscribe, of course, if you enjoyed the conversation, and also if you've got an idea for what you might want to see as a shooting break, send it to us and we'll see what we can do with it.
We will
even publish
design it.
Yes, we will design it. But for now, thanks very much. See you next time.